This should have been called the Book of What the Hell, because I don't know what to say about this. Like, yeah, we've watched this is obviously my review of the Book of Boba Fett, so we're obviously going to be talking about the spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, now's your chance to get out, because I'm going to spoil the hell out of this TV series. I don't know what to say, really. I didn't hate it. That's the thing, is that I did not in any way, shape, or form hate this series. I didn't, but, like, it bothered me at the same time. Like, I was just... It drove me nuts on so many levels, because, like, there was... Like, even before you could say, like, oh, the moment it started to go off the rails was when we got back to Mandalorian. It just became Mandalorian Season 2.5. I'm like, not even before that. Like, there just felt like no direction in any episode. Like, there felt like the closest we've had to cohesion was the second episode, and maybe, like, no, second episode. That was it. That was really it, was the second episode where when the episode with Mandalorian. But even then, it was like, wait, this is a boat. For 2 episodes, it literally became The Mandalorian Season 2.5. Why was it so goddamn hard to do a Boba Fett? Because here's the thing. Boba Fett does not feel like Boba Fett. And I know, like, obviously he's gotten older. He's, you get older and wiser with age. But I'm like, even still, like, okay, I get it. He wanted to become the crime lord of Tatooine. I get it. We needed a new location to go to that's not Navarro, so we don't have to deal with the Cara Dune stuff. I get it. But, like, his reasoning is, like, we don't really get, like, a feeling. It's more like... It feels more like a fan fiction of Boba Fett, if that makes any sense. Like, it feels more like a fan fiction version of Boba Fett doing all these things. And also, this also kind of proves my point of, I get really sick of, Star Wars really digging into the nostalgia well with all these characters saying, like, look at all these characters that are here. Don't you like, here's your member berries, eat them up. And, like, yeah, the CGI for Luke was really good. I'm not gonna lie, it was actually really good. But still, like, it just felt, that whole episode itself felt like a backdoor pilot for, like, the Ahsoka TV show. And that just bothered me. Like, that really bothered me when this show is supposed to be about Boba Fett, and it's more or less trying to be a backdoor pilot for, like, 5 other shows. That's and again, going back to Boba Fett himself, it doesn't feel like Boba Fett. It feels more like what the fans think Boba Fett is. That's another thing that bothers me, is that it feels more like what fans think Boba Fett is. Is like this big honorable guy, and I'm like, no. Cad Bane in the episode said it best. He's a cold-blooded killer who murdered people for the Empire. Did y'all forget his whole thing with Han Solo? Or, like, where he's gunned down children and was... let's not forget in Clone Wars, where he was about to deliver, as a kid, he was going to deliver a young girl, basically a child trafficker, to, like, literally a guy who was going to have raped this poor girl to death. I mean, they don't say it out loud, but that's what they were going to do. Yeah, that's in Clone Wars, the Asajj Ventress episode where she goes bounty hunter. I can't remember the name of the episode, but it's that you guys know what I'm talking about. So, like, don't try to sell me on this bullshit that like, Boba is suddenly... Like, again, you can make the argument that, he got better with age and the Tuskens taught him all that. And I'm like, I could see it, but, like, I don't... Like, there would still be hints of the old Boba there. Like him being that kind of eye for an eye kind of personality... You don't see it a lot. That's the problem. Also, the fuck was with the cyberpunk? Like, I get it. You want to bring in new characters, but, like, we introduce these characters and we have no wants or feels about them. We don't care about them other than, aren't these gonna look like cool pop figures? It's literally the vibe I guys. Like, these are gonna make great toys. And also, I'd have been cool with the cyber teens if they were on another planet. Here they just clash horribly with Tatooine. If it was like Coruscant or like even Naboo, I would take it. Or like some other more civilized planet, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense, especially on Coruscant, because I could see something like that on Coruscant or the New Republic worlds. Literally, you could do that. Here, it's just clashing. It really just clashes with everything, and it felt awkward the whole time. I'm like, also, why do they body mod? And you could say, and you could make the argument of like, oh, but like it's cool. It's like how teens do make do tattoos for themselves or some shit. I'm like, no, tattoos are cool ink stuff. This is literally you're making yourself into goddamn Inspector Gadget, and like we don't get any story with them other than, oh, we're kids and we can't find work. I'm like, okay, so what else do you do? What's your life? Why did you choose to have your arm turn into Iron Man's arm? Why give yourself an eye that looked like the fucking camera Cenobite from Hellraiser 3? Why anything? Oh, it looks cool. Okay, I get it. Here, take my fucking money. I don't get it. Like when we brought the when we got the cyborg kids, I thought like throughout the episodes we'd be like, oh, now we understand, especially at least the female lead. I forget her name, and I think even the show forgot her name, for fuck's sake. But yeah, when those characters show up, they're literally instantly thrown to the background. Literally just a little while later, they are thrown right to the fucking back seat. Now, in fairness, I did like the introduction of Chrysanthemum. That's a character showing up, a known character showing up in lore that I'm actually fine with. I'm usually like, okay, if it's done right, if the member berries work, like Luke's introduction in the end of Season 2 of Mandalorian, that worked. Like, that worked on every level. But every other time it's been like, oh, okay. Cad Bane, that made sense. But Chrysanthemum, I am way more okay with, because that was a character that was making his transition from comics to live action, and the suit looked really damn good, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm actually glad they didn't kill him, because now you've literally opened the door to Dr. Aphra showing up. Like, please, give us Aphra next. You've given us Chrysanthemum, give us Aphra next. Or maybe Sana Solo. That would be really fucking cool. Maybe also BT and 000. See, that was fine because that's a character that easily transitioned from comics, and that was a character I was wanting on my list for Book of Boba Fett, was seeing Black Chrysanthemum, and to see him in the main cast was really cool. And again, now opens the door for Aphra. Cad Bane also was a character that made logical sense to show up in here with the Pikes. And it was cool to have Corey Burton voice him in live action. Well, he didn't do it; was someone else doing the body work. Corey Burton just did the voice. And also, let's talk about that. So, in the season finale, Cad Bane dies at the hands of Boba Fett. And I was instantly shocked. Not so much that they killed Boba Fett, but more like Dave Filoni killed off one of his characters. Yeah, because Dave Filoni has this horrible thing of not killing his characters, looking directly at you, Ahsoka. He has this thing of characters overstay their welcome. So, when Cad Bane showed up, my first reaction was, oh, cool, Cad Bane. I hope he dies in the next episode. Because that's how it is with Filoni, is that he just keeps characters around way too fucking long. I've said this before. I love Ahsoka. I really love Ahsoka Tano. But, her end should have logically been her battle with Vader in Rebels. That was the most... Now it just feels like she's overstaying her welcome and is now just here for nostalgia points. That's my problem. So I was glad to... I actually smiled when Boba kills Cad Bane. I'm like, cool! Yay! But then they showed this quick scene of oh, I guess Bane didn't kill Vanth because he's in a little Bacta tank. I'm like, that's the other thing with the cyberpunks that bothers me, is that death now is really meaningless in Star Wars, where I mean, before it was like, okay, someone could come back as a Force ghost or, something of that nature. But really, like, if you're carrying, like, a gun or something, if you don't have Force powers, then you're not going to be really seen other than unless they sneak you into the timelines. Excuse me. So that was my problem. And now this whole cyberpunk thing is, now we can just bring characters back with, by making them cyborgs. So that's my problem. I get it, like with Fennec Shan, you can, again, that one I can follow the argument of, well, Boba found her dying, not shot fucking dead or close to death. Here it was like, I just found her. I'm pretty sure if he, like, was an hour late, she'd be dead already. So that one's fine, but now it brings up the argument of, well, now no one can really die, because if you just, you could just say grievous injuries and give them cyber parts. That's really it. So now death is really fucking meaningless in Star Wars. Great. Ugh. So, now, great action scenes, Robert Rodriguez, and also I would not, after seeing a Rancor fight a giant robot, what I assume is an artillery droid, I'm now like, I would not be opposed to Rodriguez doing a movie for the Monsterverse. Just saying. There are things I like about Book of Boba Fett, but there are things that really just get under my skin about this. It felt confusing. It felt way too much like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau really playing with their Star Wars toys every 5 minutes and being like, that's a reference, that's a reference, that's a reference, without, and having the bare bones of a story, and also introducing characters just as, and I know, that's the whole point of Star Wars, is to sell merchandise, but you can add a competent fucking story to make people want to buy this merchandise. I mean, yeah, Grogu's cute and he sells a lot, but there was a mystery behind him. There was like a story that we wanted to know about Grogu. So that's why there was part of the not just because he was cute, but like there was reason to get behind these characters. With the cyber kids, I'm like, oh fuck, you're there, all right. Chrysanthemum, he's gonna look like a cool toy, and I just hope they expand more with him with like Afro or something. I don't know. Fennec has also become a favorite, and with good reason. Well, first off, Ming-Na Wen is hot. I mean, she's one of two of my movie crushes. Just, I think that's a little FYI. I'll keep moving. But yeah, this, and Tamara Morrison, to his credit, does a lot of good in here. He's really good, and I think he does a lot of great body work. He does a lot of his, I think he did very well with at least Boba's body language, obviously, because he has done Boba, well, voiced Boba, but now we really see him more in the armor. And I think his acting is fine. I think it's more he's carried by other actors around him, and I think that kind of helps with his performance. So, yeah. Book of Boba Fett, or as I like to call it, Book of Why Was It So Fucking Hard to Make a Fucking Boba Fett Show? Anyway, so I was just meh. I like the flashbacks felt like, all right, when the flashback stories were done, I was like, oh, so okay, I guess we're done with flashbacks. And also, it felt like it wanted to be three different... This show, at the end of the day, really felt like it was trying to be three shows in one. And it was really fighting with itself. It was trying to be a flashback show, it was trying to be its own show, and trying to be The Mandalorian all in one, and I feel like it just didn't work. So, yeah. So it was just the book of... meh. The book of meh. That's all I can say. I'm just sitting here waiting for Obi-Wan, because I know that show's probably going to have a lot more heart and cohesion. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of the Book of Boba Fett? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you haven't already, hit the link below to my Patreon. where you can guys if you hit the 4th tier, you can make a request. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.